I've been working on editing this video that I am hoping to get out by Saturday. That's going to be my first of the year. It's Topless Topics News Resolutions for 2027. And I had the idea of putting a roll of shout outs at the end to other creators that I like. And I listed the ones that I've done interviews with because I assume that, they're fine with me mentioning them, obviously. But I also wanted to give shout outs to some of the other creators that I like who I've never interacted with, but whose content I think has a lot of value. And I was just going to throw them in, and then I started thinking, oh God, what if they don't want me to because the idea of my content, the crazy radical notion that maybe women should have the same rights to go topless online and in public that men get, is so capitalism unfriendly, such a threat to the patriarchy that I'm constantly getting banned and shadow banned over and over and over. And so I was thinking, what if they get mad that I mentioned them because now someone might Google the name of their account and have my stuff show up. I mean, that's probably not going to happen, but you never know. So I decided, okay, I'm not going to just assume that they're okay with it. I'm going to email them first and ask. And so I emailed a bunch of them. And last night I saw in my notifications on my phone that they had replied, and I was like, oh God, I'm too nervous to read it. Because these are creators that I've followed for years and really, really find great value in their content. And, I just hate the idea of making them unhappy with me. Just maybe they do support topless equality, but it's not just about that. It's also about keeping the sponsors happy, because unfortunately that's the reality. If you're a content creator, you have to jump through those hoops to be able to pay the bills. But anyway, so two of them replied, and I finally got up the courage to read their responses, and it was from Jessie and from Gellar. And like I said, I've been fans of theirs for years, and if you never heard of them, Jessie does videos about pop culture, a lot of nerd stuff like Star Trek and everything, but with a special focus on talking about gender and other LGBTQ related issues. And then Gellar does these absolutely amazing video essays. I feel like there should be more than just that category, but anyway, he does video essays about video games and historical situations and people's fears and just incredibly in-depth stuff, and he really puts a lot of work into them. And he's got 1.17 million subscribers, so it's not like he really needs a shout out from me. But anyway, so there he replied, and I finally read it, and both of them were like, oh, thank you for thinking I'm worthy of being on this list. Yeah, go ahead. And I'm just like, holy shit. First of all, I got a response from creators that I really, really like, which is awesome itself. I mean, this was an email, it wasn't a comment or whatever, but, that was awesome. And second of all, they're not morally opposed to being mentioned by someone like me. And I don't know, it's kind of encouraging because, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been making content since the beginning of YouTube, but I've been focusing on topless equality for 10 years. And I'm just so used to the constant shadow banning. I'm so used to haters and perverts just, oh, you don't actually care about this. You just want to flash your tits for attention. Or, men are hardwired to find female nipples sexual. And if women were allowed to go topless in public like men, then men just couldn't help themselves but grope them. And, just stupid shit. But a lot of people out there do actually agree with the message that it's insane, it's hypocritical, sexist, misogynistic, transphobic to say that censorship of your chest should be based on what gender you look like. There's a fear, I know, just from talking to other creators, especially like at VidCon or whatever, where in private they'll say that they support it, but it's a whole other ball game to actually say it out where other people can hear that you agree with it, just because a lot of people out there are still very puritanical. Maybe they're not even necessarily Christian, but they're just so entrenched in this view that female nipples are nudity and nudity is sex that they just don't even question it. And I'll get a huge wake up. I lost a friend actually a year ago or so. We had been friends for over a decade, and I had the idea for this meme that I made called Nudity Not Nazis, and it was basically the Drake meme where he's like, no, and then he's like, yeah. And so on the no one, I took screenshots from the January 6th insurrection, or attempted insurrection, and I put that on the no face, and then I put some of my artistic nude photos that I've done, which you can buy at toplesstopics.gumroad.com as an effort to help me pay for things since I'm banned from monetization when I'm not banned outright, where you can't even really see anything because I was wearing like a toga or whatever. But anyway, I made this meme and I was all proud of it, and I sent it to him not thinking, like, because I talked to so many people, you know, especially like in our Discord and everything, who agree with the maybe everyone should have the same rights or nobody. And he reacted like I had sent him a dick pic. He flipped out and said that I violated his consent and everything like that. And I was horrified. I did not mean it that way at all. But yeah, shortly after that, he blocked me on social media, and I was like, okay, I guess we're not friends anymore. And it was a slap in the face because I spend so much time talking to people who do agree with what I'm fighting for that, you know, I get complacent and I forget that most people, most Americans freak the fuck out at the idea of, you know, female nipples being visible outside of explicit sexual situations. So anyway, like I said, I got those emails back. I might get some more emails back. I sent out about 10 of them. YouTube has a limit on how many emails they'll let you see when you go to people's profiles. So I was going to send out some more today. But yeah, I think it's encouraging. We'll see how it goes. I still have that pie in the sky goal of gaining the legitimacy, by which I mean the popularity, that I become capitalism approved enough that I can go to large accounts and be like, can I interview you, you know, without it being like a charity case, a waste of time for them. And I don't know, it hasn't happened yet, but maybe it'll happen. Maybe one of these years we'll crack the code. Speaking of cold, that's one of Jacob Gellar's best videos is Fear of Cold. But anyway, maybe we'll crack the code of convincing sponsors that it's actually more profitable to support gender equality as far as censorship goes. But until then, I'm just gonna keep trying. I'm gonna work harder on my imposter syndrome and try to convince myself that even though I don't have millions of subscribers and most of the comments I get are from haters and perverts, it doesn't mean that there's not legitimate supporters out there. They just, you know, might be afraid of speaking up because they don't want people to misconstrue it as them saying like, yes, I want porn everywhere, because so many people assume female nipples are nude and nudity is sex. Or they just don't want to risk having the haters and perverts jump on them. But that doesn't mean that they're not out there. And even some of the larger creators that I like, if not necessarily are like, they're not as passionate about topless equality as me, but they at least don't mind me mentioning how much I like their content in a video where my heinous female nipples will be visible for the purposes of normalizing female nipples outside of sexual situations, so that maybe someday we can have the same fucking rights as men. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, feeling good. Exhausted, because I had a fucking, insomnia to 3 a.m. last night, but other than that, feeling energized. Gonna finish this video, gonna try to get it out by Saturday, and hope that 2024 is the year where I stop feeling like such a fraud.